Isaac's back, dragged on to another adventure to stop the markers, this time for good. Also, the Unitologists are being crazy again. On his adventure, he's accompanied by Captain Robert Norton and Sergeant John Carver. In co-op, your partner plays John Carver. And that's where Dead Space 3 takes a serious departure from the rest of the series. You are not alone. And not in the horror, there's necromorphs to keep you company, you're not alone. But in the, hey look, you completed something, better talk to your friends sense. Dead Space 3 isn't scary. They make almost no attempts to be scary, and that's completely fine with me. It has become more of an action adventure. Let's be completely honest with ourselves though. How many more times can you walk onto a dead necromorph and have it jump up before it gets dull? Dead Space 3 was about as necessary as multiplayer was to Dead Space 2. All that being said, I love the game. The universal ammo type, while breaking the illusion of the game, is a godsend because I no longer am carrying 20 packs of line gun ammo while using only the javelin gun. The switch from node-based upgrades to a resource system and weapon crafting, while mildly disorienting at first, makes for much more varied gameplay and crazy weapon combinations. The added New Game Plus game modes provide an interesting challenge to the game, with stipulations like you can only use guns from the other two games, or the much more difficult you die once, you die forever. The game also manages to capture the haunting emptiness of space, and the glaring brightness of Tau Volantis and its constant blizzards. The story is fairly predictable, lacking many moments of, oh my gosh, it was him! That being said, the ultimate reveal of what's going on did leave me rethinking the previous games in the new context and saying, wow, that makes so much sense. How did I not realize that? Make us whole. The gameplay itself is consistent with the previous games. The only added thing was a roll dodge, as well as some new hacking minigames that only serve as a break from the action of the game instead of a brain challenge. They got rid of save spots, which makes some sense if the goal is to keep the player immersed. However, I'll admit missing the ability to revert to earlier saves. They also limit it to 2 guns instead of the usual 4, and that sucks. But when you can have a rocket launcher attached to your force gun with stasis damage, you don't really need multiple guns. They also nerfed some of the previous staple guns for the crafting system, and made it so passive chips add bonuses to guns such as added damage or clip size. There's also many collectibles to be found throughout the game which add bonus exposition to the story, as well as insight into the thoughts of dead characters. If you manage to find all of a certain group of artifacts, then you get even more bonuses, like chips and suits. However, the new suits all look roughly the same, except for a few that I think I only got through pre-order bonuses. Story gets a 7. It's predictable, but it's interesting enough to keep me playing, and the side missions are pretty interesting and worthwhile as well. Presentation gets a 9, it looks gorgeous, everything is in place to keep the player immersed in the world, from the game pop-up menu to the health bar on his back. Gameplay gets a 9. It's the same as the previous games, and the added roll is perfect for sticky situations. Design gets a 6. The lack of split screen kills me inside. The limit of 2 guns hurts as well. Also, there aren't many major crafting parts or resources until about halfway through the game. The lack of split screen in a game with co-op is frustrating, but can be attributed to the high processing requirements and desire not to scale down the resolution. Replay value gets a 7. The added New Game Plus modes are a nice challenge, and the story twist was enough that playing through provides a few new insights. Overall, I give Dead Space 3 an 8. It's fun. What else do you need?